Scare Me by K.R. Alexander, Chapter 4. Mr. Evans moves the bride back upstairs after he's cleaned up her shattered head. I can't help but watch him go. Just seeing the bride tugs at my chest, and not in a good way. I mean, it creeps me out, so I guess it's a good thing. It's just weird. I'm not used to being creeped out. What was it even doing here? Julia asks. Her voice wavers. I shrug and kneel down, picking up the placard at the mannequin's base. I read the small article aloud. This one isn't from a newspaper, but seems to be some sort of museum piece. Missing bride found. Local tragedy unfolds. In late winter of 1941, the body of Miss Anna Corvidon was found in the frozen Lake Charm. Earlier that winter, her fiancé, Mr. Colin James, had died in the war. Their wedding had originally been set for a few days after he was deployed. He never returned. Although originally thought an accident, authorities believed the grief-stricken Anna was so devastated by the loss of her fiancé that she drowned herself in the frozen lake. She was found the next day by her family. Miss Corvidon's family was never able to recover. Shortly after her funeral, they dressed a store mannequin in her gown, preserving her memory for the fiancé who would never lead her down the aisle. The mannequin stood in their care for up until their deaths, when it was bequeathed to the Historical Society. Some believe the mannequin is haunted. The caretakers have reported strange sounds or sad shadows whenever the mannequin is installed. I swallow and look at my friends, my gut sinking and pulse racing. That's terrible, Julia says. Yeah, Tanisha replies. The poor girl. She looks at me and smacks me on the arm. And you had to go and break her head. I didn't mean to, I say, rubbing my arm. She hits hard. Well, hopefully Mr. Evans can fix it and she can, I don't know, rest in peace. I swallow. I have a feeling neither of them would like it if they knew what I was thinking. Not just because they were very much against breaking the rules, but because it's clear they felt bad for the girl. But it was just a dress on a mannequin, right? Not the girl herself, and it's not like I was planning on stealing it or anything, just borrowing it for our display. A shadow twitches in the corner of the basement. My heart freezes. Was that? No, strange. I thought there was a woman in the corner. More thudding upstairs brings me back to the task at hand. Come on, we have a lot of work to get done tonight. My friends nod, and together they go sort plastic spiders from the spiderwebs while I begin mapping out the basement. It's one large open space with a low ceiling supported by concrete and steel beams, and a bare concrete floor. The swamp can go there in the corner, but we're going to need a few extension cables for the long machine and air pump. We can line up the skeletons over there. Dang it, I think the caskets are too tall for the ceiling. We'll have to prop them at an angle. How in the world am I going to get the lights installed on those beams? Ah! Julia yelps. I jolt around in time to see her leap into the air. My heart immediately starts racing. Did she see something too? What? Tanisha asks. Julia stares wide-eyed at the fake webs. That spider isn't plastic. Sure enough, a large black spider scutters from the webbing, vanishing into the shadows of the basement. Just watching it makes my skin crawl. Is it the same one from the bride? It almost makes me feel like we're being watched. Cold trickles down the back of my neck, making my hair stand on end. It definitely feels like we're being watched. I glance over to the placard still in the corner, to the place where I thought I saw a shadowy figure. There's nothing there, and yet I could swear that's where the feeling of eyes is coming from. There better not be more of those, Tanisha says. I hate spiders. Probably not, I say. Besides, we don't have any poisonous spiders here. That was probably just a daddy longlegs. Right, Julia says. Then she mumbles under her breath. It was way too big to be a daddy longlegs. Julia doesn't return to the spiderwebs. She starts pulling out the styrofoam tombstones instead. Before we can really get back to business, the door opens and a new set of footsteps tromps over tromps down the stairs. I think I know who it is before I even turn around. When I do look, my stomach sinks further and my anger shimmers in my veins. Patricia, Julia says, what are you doing down here? I ask my nemesis. Everyone seems to think Patricia is innocent, probably because she looks like a stereotypical angel. Long blonde hair, blue eyes, and skin so pale I don't think she ever goes outside. Her voice, too, is high-pitched and sweet, and she always wears really old-fashioned clothes, which honestly just make her look creepy in my opinion. Like she thinks she was born in another century. Adults think she's darling, and that means she can get away with a ton of bad things, like what she did to us last year. Just the thought brings my anger from a simmer to a boil. I heard a scream from all the way up in the attic. Patricia says with her cherubic smile, so I thought I'd come down and see what you'd done to scare yourselves. I stub my toe, I say quickly. Nothing scary. Really? Patricia says. You scream like a girl. I shrug. My best friends are 2 girls. The insult means nothing to me. But Patricia isn't even paying attention to my reaction. She's already stepping past me and staring over my shoulder at the stuff we have unpacked. I move to block her, but obviously it doesn't work. We have too much out in the open. I should have locked the door. Huh, she says. You're not supposed to be down here, I say. You know the rules, no snooping. I'm not snooping, she says. Just still surveying our decor. Both Julia and Tanisha stare at her with open animosity. They step to my sides and help block her view. She goes on. I was just concerned. What was Mr. Evans carrying up? I heard you broke something. None of your business, I say. I had to force myself not to grind my teeth or look towards the mannequin's play card. The last thing I need is for her to seek the mannequin out herself. Maybe you should go, Tanisha says. I'd hate to have you disqualified for breaking the rules so early in the game. Patricia steps back and gives her most innocent smile. I'm just a concerned friend, wanting to make sure everyone here is okay. The smile drops and the real Patricia shows herself. You're going to need to up your game if that's all you've got. I was kind of hoping it would be a real competition this year. She sends an unimpressed glance up at our spiderwebs before leveling an even less impressed glance back at us. And frankly, so far, I'm not convinced. Then she smiles again, sweetly, like she didn't just insult our entire project, before turning out on her heel and prancing up the stairs. I growl under my breath when the door clicks shut behind her. Don't let her get to you, Tanisha says. She puts her hand on my arm. She's just trying to distract us. It's working, I grumble. I glance back to the foam tombstones and fake cobwebs, and I think of my brief conversation with Mr. Evans. The idea that had seemed risky, but now seems like the only way forward. We need more than some killer props and design. We need a story, a terrifying story, one that makes people connect with our exhibit. I'd been waiting for the missing piece, and the bride is it. My anger fades into resolve. Come on, I say, we have a lot to do before going home. In the back of my mind, I promise myself again to do whatever it takes to make this the scariest year ever, even if it means going behind Mr. Evans' back. Patricia thinks we need to up our game. I'll up our game. I'll prove that she shouldn't underestimate us. No matter what, we're going to have a terrifying graveyard, ghost bride and all.